First of all, we saw Latrell running around. How is he?
Yeah, he's good. There was a plan to keep him off his legs till today, and got out there and he's flying. Looks good. So, as expected, he'll play tomorrow.
How much of a difference does he make, just the psyche of the team?
Oh, he's a big one. You know, obviously it's round one, so we want to keep him playing, but we weren't going to risk him either. So he's pulled up fine. Really happy with how he got through the second half. So I wasn't really in any doubt.
You've seen his little bit of a fuse with Penrith, saying that they got a few cracks in the windscreen.
Yeah, he's spent some time with the boys over there in the World Cup tour, and he's having a bit of fun with them. But we're under no illusions how tough the game's going to be.
Is he right?
Oh, look, they've lost a game in round one. At home. When was the last time they lost one at home? And they lost by a point. So we'll see. There's a long way to go before we start talking about chinks in what's a very impressive armour.
Shane, do you think it's going to be more even competition this year, like what you've seen so far in the pre-season? And I know it's only round one, but it's a lot more even competition. Yeah,
I said that in pre-season before the season started, that I thought it was going to be the most competitive season we've had in a long time. And my wife has a tipping comp, she does, and we look at last week trying to find. She's only got to pick one team that wins, and it's pretty difficult last week. It's pretty difficult this week as well to guarantee a winner. So, and that's what we want. That's why the audiences are up and everybody's enjoying the footy.
Just give some insights what you've seen from Lockie Ilya so far. That was clearly his best performance in NRL last week. Just his progression, another off-season. What have you seen from him so far?
I'm just seeing him confident in knowing his role. He's really clear. I spoke about it before when we were at Charity Shield out in the middle of the field before the game, and it honestly felt like 3 or 4 years ago that we were out there and he was about to play his first Charity Shield. But his evolution's been there for everybody to see. But it's still early days. He's still got plenty of improvement in him, and for me, that's what's exciting.
You've also had some really great battles with Penrith over the last couple of years. How much do you draw on that experience going into this one?
Oh, not much. To be honest, we know how hard it's going to be, and like I said to the boys this morning, the process doesn't care who's on the field or who we're playing against, and we've got to be real professional with how we approach a game, and we've got to do the things that we've been working on through the pre-season and get our game on. If we can do that, we give ourselves a chance.
The middles were really strong against the Sharks, even though you guys lost a couple of guys to concussion.
Yeah.
What's the key to repeating the dose?
Yeah, same again, as I just said. The boys know their role. They know what they need to do. They've spent a whole pre-season. We're as fit as we've been in a long time, so we've got to back ourselves to do it. But we completed 84% in the second half as well. And while we're doing that, we're going to be a tough team to beat.
JD, speaking of last week, the win came at a cost with a couple of costly injuries as well.
Yeah, it did. Obviously, Junior in the head knock, but he'll be back for the Roosters game, which will be a big plus for us. Jai Arrow's hamstring's not as bad as first thought, which is pretty common with Jai with his grade 5 carry-on. But so he's only going to be a couple of weeks, which is really good news. And fortunately, we've got Jed Cartwright and Daniel Saluka for feeder back, so I'm really happy to have those two in the team, and I know they'll cover those spots.
Speaking of the long list of injury, you've had to call on a development player to sit on the extended bench, Tallis Duncan. Tell us a little bit about Tallis. Yeah,
Tallis is a player that's come through our system who's looks to have a big future here at the club. I really like what he's about. He's got great skill. He's got some good punch, and he defends really well. So he's learning how to play against men, and he's developing his game. But he's not too far away. That's what I said to him. I won't be surprised if he plays some first grade in not too distant future.
Jason's your wife for tipping Souths?
Yeah, no, we don't tip that one. It's just a bit of a hoodoo, so we stay away from it. I don't like her tipping that one. So she keeps asking me every week, what's the one game that's going to win? And eventually she forgets to put her tips in and gets kicked out anyway. So, no, it's I definitely don't look at us.
Do you feel like you're almost double the team you were last year because you've got the attack so good on both sides now?
Yeah, like I said in the press conference after the game, I felt like our right edge grew last year, and I think that comes naturally with the evolution of players that are starting to get real comfortable and elite first graders. Keon Crowell-Matungi's been to a World Cup, and so has Campbell Graham, and those two guys have come back with a renewed confidence and really understanding how important they are to the team. And as long as we can have that threat on both sides and through Cookie through the middle third, then it makes us a hard team to defend against.
Is Cameron Murray getting distracted by the Wallaby talk?
I hope not. Look, it's conversations, it's paper talk, and he's contracted till the end of 2025. So I'm sure in a couple of years that talk will start again. But for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm not sure it does to him either.
I can't imagine he's a sort of bloke you'd have to sort of pull the line in any way.
Nah, not really. If there's a bloke who's as passionate to wear the South jersey as anybody in the club, and he leads his club with distinction every week, and I know he'll be 100% focused every week.
JD, you must have been happy with Shaq and Davey last week, playing big minutes for the first time in their career. You expect the same this week?
Yeah, they're going to have to, yeah. I thought Davey did a great job to start against, a top side as well, and he hadn't done that before, so to do what he did at the start of the game was impressive, again, considering we lost Junior in the first seconds of the game. So, and then Shaq came on, and those two didn't just play first grade, they stood up. They were very strong through the middle third, and that allowed blokes like Cam to stay on the field and for our halves to do what they did.
You had a chance to chat to the old coach this week, Jace?
I sent him a message before the game wishing him luck, and then after the game as well. And look, I wasn't surprised, sat at home watching it. One thing Wayne does really well is get his teams ready for round one, and he's done a great job to pull that team together and to perform like that in round one is pretty impressive, considering that some of those players he wouldn't even have known and wouldn't even have met until December. So there was some pretty special performances by him as well.
Are you expecting them to be a whole lot better than what most people had predicted this year? Just given you know Wayne and know how he works. And
yeah, I don't buy into what people are predicting, not one bit. When you got blokes like Felice Kafusi who can do the things that he did on the field, then they're a pretty strong side. But the biggest challenge, I've said, will be depth, and that'll grow over the next couple of years. So if they can stay fit and healthy, they're going to be a force for sure.
Jason, can I ask you, Tane Milne eligible for selection, but you've seen enough from Isaac?
Yeah, well, Tane hasn't played in any trials, so he's coming back from a knee injury as well, so he gets to get some minutes in reserve grade, and our team's had a great win, so I don't see any point in changing it. And Isaac's had a great pre-season. He backed that up on the weekend. I think he ran for 178 metres. He's a big body, and he's what we're looking for. So, but there's pressure on him. Tane's back, and Richie Kenner's pushing those guys as well. So we've got some good depth there.
What about Hame and Hosty? How far away are they?
Yeah, Hame's big chance to be right next week against the Roosters, which will be a big in for us with Junior coming back as well. And Hosty's probably the week after, so they're not too far away. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, JD.
Good luck tomorrow, mate.
Cheers, mate.